T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yo, welcome back to the Blue Lounge. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys have recovered from yesterday. I hope you guys are having a blessed weekend. Welcome back to the Blue Lounge. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, make sure you smash that like button on your way in. Don't make me ask you all the time. Just smash it as you're coming in to the Blue Lounge, to the channel, to the chat, to the stream, and it will make things go a lot smoother for us tonight. Tonight, we are going to be discussing the shambolic result yesterday. We're going to be discussing Enzo Maresca and his future, his tenure at Chelsea Football Club, the crisis that Chelsea seem to be in right now. And again, these are all subjective, and that's why we're here. We're here to discuss, to debate, to see where things are going, where things are at this point in time. Big up to all of you in the chat. Big up to Daniel, Jackie, Maha. Big up to you. Big up to everyone who is joining. And big up to my world champions, my panelists. We have got Sadiq from Worldwide Chelsea, who is making a return. He has been traveling the world. Good to have him back. Welcome back, Sadiq. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I did watch the last stream as well that was not on. And it's good to see the champions on here. And a new face, I think, for the first time. Or maybe I didn't see you either. But yeah, looking forward to today. I'm sure everyone's got different opinions. I know there'll be someone in here that's positive still. There's always one person. So just want to see who it is.
We'll try and find him. Big up to you, Sadiq. We'll go to the one next to Sadiq, Matt from the Stamford Sink. How are you, brother?
Eating many big helpings of copium to get through my day, but you know, it is what it is. Looking forward to having a bit of therapy with you boys tonight. This is it's becoming a regular now, isn't it? Sunday, we just get it all off our chest.
It is. It's good to get it off our chest. It is good to start the week with all this suffering, all this excess baggage that we seem to be having off our chest before we start the week. Kai from behind the dugouts, how are you? How you doing?
Non-Chelsea related, I'm doing great, mate. Chelsea related, yeah, it definitely could be a bit better, couldn't it? But no, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
100%. Welcome back, Kai. Welcome back. Me, Zion, Blue Clouds Media. How are you? How you doing? You're on mute.
I'm doing very well. I'm glad to be back again, share the panel with these wonderful guys, and discuss everything related to Chelsea. Enzo Maresca's head is on the chopping board. The whole player's head is on the chopping board. We're ready for it. Let's get it going.
It's getting gruesome and graphic up on the Blue Lounge today, mate. It's getting mad. Lewis, welcome back for your second show. How you doing, brother?
Amazing, man. Thanks. I'm actually doing great. I always have high hopes for my team, but I never had any expectations, as many others did. I think people were a little bit over positive, so I'm not shocked. And I'm sort of seeing a lot of what I expected to see. Maybe the dip was a little early, but I see it. And so I'm happy. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Big up to you. Big up to Courtney. Big up to RC. Strap yourselves in, lads. Strap yourselves in. Yeah, man. Listen, it's going to be a roller coaster. But we're going to get the roller coaster off and going tonight. Lads, make sure you grab a snack, grab a drink, like RC says, strap yourself in. We are going to be on for a little bit longer than usual. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm off, so so we are going to be a little bit later than usual. It's going to be a longer stream than usual. But lads, I'm going to start off by giving you my thoughts in regards to the situation as it stands, and then I'm going to show you one tweet and a short video clip before I hand over to my panel for us to discuss the whole situation. So, Chelsea lose again. Enzo Maresca did not learn from his last experience at Manchester United when he went down to 10. He made the same errors in judgment that he had made in the previous game, and you saw that that mentality didn't help you in the last game, and it definitely did not help you in the next game that came along. Brighton were losing. Chelsea had the upper hand. Chelsea, up until that point, were in a very strong position. First half, we dominated. We should have had more goals. We didn't. But then, in error, another unforced, well, you can say unforced, you can say, misjudgment from Santos puts Chalobah in an awkward position, an awkward position that Chalobah had to deal with, and he committed a foul, a professional foul, in my opinion, because we were ahead. And then Enzo Maresca decides to close shop again. He does the same thing that he did against Manchester United. Problematic. Judgment issue. I will be showing you a video clip from Cesc Fabregas discussing this type of scenario. He is not specifically speaking about Enzo Maresca, but he is specifically speaking about the scenario. And you will watch that clip, and then you can make your own judgment on the mindset that Enzo Maresca has. Is Enzo Maresca the right manager to be leading Chelsea to the heights and the expectations that we all have as fans? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, Enzo Maresca has shown himself to be weak, to be tactically incompetent, to have a one-dimensional approach. That is what I have seen from Enzo Maresca so far. Some will say, but Enzo Maresca won 2 trophies in his first season. 2 trophies. One, if we had not won, we would be all up in arms right now. The Conference League is not a massive tournament. We were the strongest team by far in that tournament, and we won outright because we deserved to win. And again, in the final against Betis, we weren't that great. We won, but we didn't dominate. However, against Paris Saint-Germain, we could say we did a better job. Enzo Maresca's mentality needs to be questioned. Enzo Maresca's approach needs to be questioned. I'm going to show you, I've been having some technical difficulties. I am going to try and show you this video clip. So I'm just going to switch screens. And I'm going to try to add this video clip because this is something that you guys need to watch. How am I adding this? Okay. We all know Fabregas
Like
and
if
what
you
he
are winning 1-0, for example, and you change a midfielder.
Let me just adjust this a bit. Sorry, lads. I did try to set this up before the stream, but it wasn't working too great. So we're going to... And this clip, by the way, is courtesy of another fellow Chelsea YouTuber. He posted this on his X. Lorenz Vescoli. Some of you guys will know him. Now, watch this, And by the way, tell me if the audio is clear as well. Watch this and then we'll discuss it after.
Like if you are winning 1-0, for example, and you change a midfielder or a striker and you put a defender in the last 10-15 minutes, you're playing with a back five all of a sudden, because you saw from outside that they are playing with really high fullbacks or whatever reason. Inside, the players, you see that he's taken a striker off, he's put a defensive player on. So automatically your mindset is, oh, the coach wants us to defend, we have to sit back, and you attract pressure and you invite them to have the ball more and you invite them to attack you more and to be more dangerous. And the more they are on your pitch, one day it can happen that you can kill them on counter-attack and score the second goal, but 80-90% of the time it backfires, because you invite pressure and there's a penalty, there's a little free kick or a cross, rebound.
Okay, so that is the clip. Now, I want to share an update with you guys. This is from Ben Jacobs in regards to the whole situation with Enzo Maresca. This was tweeted earlier today. And he says, Enzo Maresca retains the full support of the Chelsea leadership following the losses to Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and Brighton. 4 out of 5 defeats in the past 6 months have had red cards in them, which are viewed as playing a part. Now, we all know what happened with Nicholas Jackson when he got his red card and the repercussions that he faced. But now we've seen a red card for Chalobah and we've seen a red card for Sanchez. This is an issue. Discipline is an issue. And discipline is an issue that needs to be dealt with by Enzo Maresca. Ben Jacobs goes on to say, understand Chelsea owners and sporting directors remain calm as they were during the slump over the festive period last season. Chelsea went on to get top 4 and win 2 trophies. There is an appreciation. A 60-plus game season will have ups and downs. Big weeks ahead with games against Benfica and Liverpool, but viewed as one of many between now and May. Okay, so the Chelsea board, the Chelsea ownership, are in full backing, in full support of Enzo Maresca. That is where we are. That is where we are. Big up to everyone who has just joined. Big up to the Chelsea boy, DJ Sav, Daniel Knight. Big up to everyone. Big up to Rich Moneymaker, Dan, Papa Chels. Big up to everyone. Lads, I am going to open this to you as a panel. Is there a crisis at the bridge? Do we have issues? Let's address discipline first. Where do you guys stand in respect to the discipline matter? Because discipline has cost us 2 games, right? Or has it? Take it away, boys.
I wouldn't say the Trevor Chalobah card was a disciplinary issue. I think that was just, he's tried to win the ball. He did initially get a tiny touch on it, so technically he did kind of win the ball. But I wouldn't say that's a disciplinary issue. It was just an absolute suicidal pass from Santos to put him in that situation. I deem more disciplinary issues when you've got the likes of like the Nicholas Jackson red card and things like that. And there were a few, I think Badiashile was it, that decided he was playing WWE. And, you know, throwing people around. So, yeah, I wouldn't put Trev's one in that one. Would I put Sanchez's red card as a disciplinary issue?
More of a lost his
Probably not.
head moment,
No,
isn't it, than
just
discipline?
ill-timed,
Lack of skill.
stupid mistake kind of thing. So I wouldn't say we're rife with disciplinary issues, but there is, when things are going south, which the last 2 games have, it tends to creep in a little bit. I'm sure I saw a video of Caicedo headbutting somebody which I think is being looked at. So not 100% sure on it, but
I saw that.
There seems to be a little bit of a
yeah.
head loss when things are going like really south. But yeah, for the last 2 red cards, I wouldn't say that they were disciplinary issues, just more ill-timed and poor decision making on their behalf, and suicide balls from the player.
Yeah, it's like Kai says, man, isn't it? Like when Nicholas Jackson was getting the red cards, you could argue that's more of a discipline thing because he's an attacker. Do you know what I mean? And if you're making these ridiculous things as an attacker when you've got midfielders and defenders and stuff behind you, do you know what I mean? But when it's, the Chalobah one, he was put into a situation. Robert Sanchez just kind of lost his head. And the weird thing as well is like it felt really easy to attribute it to the youth side of it, but Chalobah's 26 and Sanchez is nearly 28. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really even that. When you start to look at it, maybe this is copium. There's going to be a lot of that today, I'm sure. But it is just starting to look like a patch for me of something of a series of unfortunate events, rather the discipline thing, rather than being like a systemic issue.
Okay, I mean we've seen players lose their cool quite regularly now. We seem to have a fight kicking off every match. Is there a lack of guidance? Is there a lack of instruction, or is it just the passion and the the energy that comes with with being a football player?
I want to jump in real quick. Look, we've talked about indiscipline. Chelsea last season recorded, I think, 101 or 104 yellow cards alone last season, which we were tagged as the most indisciplined team. And I remember questions were being asked to Enzo Maresca a couple of times during press conference on how he intended to manage this indiscipline aspect of his team. And he did explain it. He did said he'd been talking to the players and he's working on it. Very early in this season, we've seen lots of red card, which I think that just like Matt said, it has to do with the system, which is causing these early 2 red cards simultaneously, as we've seen. But in discipline-wise, many more yellow cards is also flowing in. I'm sure probably if you look at the disciplinary record right now in terms of yellow cards and red cards, we are among the teams out there, maybe 1 to 3. We should be part of it. How can we stop it if we're able to get our balance right? Most of the cards is coming in because not really. We saw the one from Badiashile. That is more of indiscipline. Maybe unfortunate card from Caicedo picking up unfortunate card when most of the time we've seen that he's really got the tackle of the ball. He's got the ball and he's been unfortunate and then he made him receive yellow cards. But I feel like the red cards are really, really unfortunate. It's not much have to do with indiscipline aspect of it. But then I do agree, a little bit of the yellow cards are more of an indiscipline. Nicholas Jackson is not here anymore, so maybe the yellow card will reduce from 105 to maybe 60 for the rest of the season. That would be a plus.
So could the and again, it depends how you look at it, but could the pushback that Nicholas Jackson got for his red card and him being sidelined and the whole saga that developed from that be a reason for Maresca to be, taking a step back in regards to being tougher on the players and trying to set them straight when they do have a ruckus on the pitch, when they do cause some sort of issue? Is he being more lenient because he doesn't want to have a similar situation to what they did with Nicholas Jackson? Could that be an issue?
No. Look, and Enzo Maresca will not condone or will not even tell players to run on the pitch and be indisciplined. But some players are really indisciplined no matter what you do to them. Even you can put them in brick walls, so put the cage on it. When they come out, they'll still be who they are. And I can give you a lot of examples. Diego Costa was one of them. I'm sure his manager, none of the managers that managed him expected him to put up those behavior, but that is who he is. Nicholas Jackson, no matter what he do, he's going to do the Senegalese crap on the page. your team members score a goal, and you run across the left and breadth of the pitch in front of the referee and telling him, "Hey, look at me, I'm Nicholas Jackson. I'm going across the pitch to go and celebrate a goal." Look at Nicholas Jackson. I'm not sure Enzo Maresca will tell this boy to do that. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes some players are who they are. It's not on doesn't have to be on the manager. You get what I'm saying? Players have to take responsibility and accountability of what they do.
So there is certain things that I'm going to use this term, and I'm not sure if this is even a term, but I'll make it up. Controlled aggression. So, for example, Diego Costa. I'll use 3 players for this example. Diego Costa being one, Tony Rudiger being the second, and Dennis Wise being the third. 3 different eras of Chelsea football. They were all very aggressive players, but they were also aggressive in a controlled manner. They knew where the line was, and they pushed just to that line and avoided crossing that line. Diego Costa might have crossed that a couple of times, to be fair, but you get what I'm saying. So they use it, but they use it in a way where
the benefits of Chelsea, not to go against Chelsea.
Exactly. Tony Rudiger was amazing at doing that. Dennis Wise back in the day was amazing. He would rattle players and get them sent off. Nicky Butt, if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Where he literally got him on the ground and he pinched him. Nicky Butt gets up, kicks him, and Nicky Butt gets sent off. Even though Dennis Wise is the one who instigated it. So
don't forget Tupuku Corella there. The fact that he doesn't talk, he's very annoying.
David Luiz as well. David
Luiz. Good shout. So these are players that were able to do something to rattle the opposition. Brilliant, fantastic. I love to see that. But at the same time, you have to know where the limit is, because you don't want to be sacrificing a player for Chelsea. So this is something that I think needs to be addressed. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the video that we just watched, and I'm gonna let Sadiq lead on this. Cesc Fabregas, the words that he said, the mentality that he portrayed in that video, talking about, even when you are down to 10 men, if you do those substitutions, if you bring on defenders on the pitch, you have told your team subconsciously, subliminally, that you are not going to be attacking. We have to hold to defend. That mentality will always, he said 80 to 90% of the time, will always lead to you conceding and losing the game. Does Enzo Maresca have a winner's mentality?
I mean, based on the last 2, definitely not. The two that we saw were amazing. Were embarrassing. Sorry. Just quickly on the previous point, just summarize it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You were spot on with everything that you said, but I do want to say, since VAR have come into play, it's a lot worse. And even if you do one little thing, you do get pulled up on it as well. So I think, even though Costa never got a red card, or if you got one red card or something for Chelsea, I can't remember. I think he got no red cards actually, but he would have been done right now, personally, with these VAR rules. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think in today's modern era, the way we're going with football, how it's becoming, it's getting worse.
Football's a lot softer now as well.
Yeah,
compared to what it was, it's so much softer. I mean, it's supposed to be a contact sport, but
yeah,
it ain't anymore.
You literally can't do anything. But yeah, Fabregas is spot on. All I can say was, Gusto, I don't want to be so negative about Gusto, okay? Because it's not his fault in the day. But when I see him making a great run, making a great counter, we're not expecting you to score. I mean, I didn't expect him to score. I don't think he's ever scored a professional goal in his life. But I expect you to kind of, take to the right side, try to get something into the box, just do something, right? He cut back, guys, okay? And the moment I saw that, if you heard the fans, guys, in the stadium, you would have been pissed off massively. Like, everyone was booing him. Okay, I'm serious. Everyone was booing him. They had enough. basically. When I saw that cleared it up. That backs up Fabregas's concept of what he's saying, a defensive mindset. We had Tyreek George, we had Garnacho, we had Gittins. I'm not saying these guys would have made a difference or anything, but it shows you that Maresca wanted that draw, because I think Gusta did come on after the goal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was. So it kind of told me we wanted to end it as a draw, which summed it up. I think we had no shots on target. Soon, people are going to talk about João Pedro. There's an issue. He comes in too deep. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna see all of this stuff coming soon. Suspensions, discipline. Kai mentioned about Casado. That's going to be coming up in the next few days. We've got players missing, and this is going to add to the list of Maresca's excuses coming up very soon as well, because he's going to say, "Well, we don't have X, Y, Z," but I think the issues were already there. One thing I will back him on is that these were individual mistakes. Bayern Munich, United, Brighton. It wasn't other teams have outplayed us and got that goal. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to fully blame Maresca now. And even if we did get rid of him, I'm hearing De Zerbi, which, cool, this guy might be arrogant. He might want his certain way and stuff. But until the guys above change the mindset, or if they go, even though they've signed a 6-year deal, we are going to be in the same position. And I think this is our expectations, where we know right now we're not going to be that same club anymore. We have to take it to a different level. And whether that means gradually getting better and better every single season, and like Arsenal, after 5 years, might be at the closest to getting a Premier League title. That's the way we're currently looking at the moment, because the signings weren't good enough. We were told false promises. The issues go from left, right, centre. And you've also got reports coming out against Maresca saying the players aren't happy and stuff. This is all a brief. This is just to make things look a lot worse than it was. We saw Cole Palmer talk from the Conference League saying that tactics were sideways and backwards passing. He decided to change that, and we changed the entire game. And I think that sums it up, where it is coming from the manager. But if the manager doesn't have belief in the players, because we haven't got the players that he wanted, what can we really expect?
Do you know, fantastic way to summarize it, Sadiq. But I had a poll on the stream straight after the Man United game, and I said, do you guys think Maresca should be sacked? And I kind of knew what the answer was going to be. It was, I think, 67% saying no. And, whatever's left saying yes was us 67, so that's 43. 33 saying yes. I did another poll today before we went live. I did it on my community tab, and last time I checked, it was around 60% saying he should be sacked. It flipped totally, and I think it is still early doors. I watched Matt's video today on the Stanford Sync, where he looked at the next, I think, five or four fixtures coming up. Next 4 games, and what could we expect? What could we see happen? And if certain results go in a certain way, are we really that far off where we were last season? And the way Matt calculated it, would be 1 point away from where we were last season. And is that really that bad? Should we really be so disheartened? The issue is this: we didn't see from Maresca last season what we've seen in the last 6 games, or in the last 6-7 games this season. Taking into account the club fixtures. So his mindset has been challenged. His tactics have been challenged, because he has found himself in situations that are not accommodating, that are not so brilliant, that are not so great to be in. And yet the way he has reacted has been to, put himself. I'm going to use the analogy of an ostrich. dig a hole and put your head in it and hope things work out fine. That's literally what he did. He dug a hole, brought all these defenders on to make sure that his head doesn't get bashed while he's putting it in the ground. That's what he's done. And for me, that tells me this is not the right man for the job. Will he be able to achieve some sort of success, top four, maybe Carabao Cup, maybe but is that the level we're at? Lewis said something on my last stream. He said something on my last stream, and to be fair, he got me thinking. Do you know when someone just grabs you by the scruff of the neck and gives you a slap and tells you to wake up? That's what he did. He said something, and it was him commenting on my expectations for the fixture with Liverpool next weekend. And I said in that stream, a draw wouldn't be such a bad result. And if we lose and we play well, I can live with that. And he said, is that the kind of mindset we have started to have as Chelsea fans? Is that what we've become? And that was a wake up moment for me, because I cannot believe that this is how I have started to think and how I have started to perceive the situation. And if we are not careful, we will all slowly but surely start to accept this level. And we start to think, we gave it a good game. We're going to have Graham Potter mentality. The lads gave it all they can. The lads played well. This is not Chelsea, lads. This is not who we are.
Can I just add something as well before everyone goes away as well? After you're done, sorry.
1 second, Sadiq. This is something that comes to you gradually. You are doctored to start thinking this way gradually, because when you are seeing bad performance after bad performance, the minute you win a game, yes. Do you guys remember a couple of times when we saw Arsenal Football Club celebrating a draw? We used to banter them for celebrating a draw. We banter them for celebrating a draw. You know what? If we're not careful, we're going to be in that mindset not so far in the future. We got to be careful, lads. Go ahead, Sadiq. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you off earlier. What I was going to say, I think the Enzo Maresca situations slowly remind me of Conte's second season at Chelsea. We actually started well in that second season after winning the league, and slowly fell off. I think transfers were kind of shocking that year as well. I think there's a bigger issue right now with this club. I mean, no front of shirt sponsor. Ticket prices for Champions League have skyrocketed. We're paying last seeded clubs £66 per ticket, and it looks like we're trying to bring short-term revenue in because we haven't got this shirt sorted right now. So all of these little things are adding up. We've seen Maresca do a U-turn on certain targets and stuff. We're being briefed that there'll be some money in the January transfer window, which I don't believe whatsoever. I don't think there will be. So we can kind of see maybe Maresca's kind of frustrated with some of the players that he has, or maybe some of the players that he didn't want in the first place. We've always heard Xavi Simons, but we got Garnacho. That's all we got. So I think, yes, there's a bigger issue behind the scenes that we just don't know. I mean, the directors came to the dressing room straight after the game. I don't know why that's even being reported nowadays. That wasn't done during Roman days. We didn't hear any of this stuff. Like, why are we reading these things, right? So
they have an office in the dressing room now. It's like they are now part of it.
bro,
They do their work in the dressing room.
that's crazy. That's crazy. That should be 100% separate. There should be no boundaries. I mean, there should be nothing, like no connection between those guys and the players and the manager when it comes to match day. No way. So yeah, I think it's just big issues, and obviously I don't want to read out DJ7 in public, but what he's saying there is spot on, and it's sad to even admit that. It's really, really sad, and a lot of us, not here, but a lot of us, after seeing the Club World Cup, the Conference League, we got our hopes up. We called it a 7 or 8 out of 10 window. We can push on, and it's good that you guys are positive and you want to see the best, but it's not that, guys. It's not that, and I'm hoping Matt is right in terms of it could be a patch. We could bounce back. Obviously, as I said, there were a few mistakes, individual mistakes. We could have won those games very, very easily. We could have got a draw against United even, and this is what Mo was saying. Is that what we want? Draws, celebrating draws, but realistically, it is going to take time. And Saka Maresca is not an option. You might not be happy with him, but it is not an option right now because this is how you build, right? You build with a team with a manager that is there for quite a while. So, yeah, sorry for rambling on so much, guys. I know some of you guys want to talk. I'm sorry, Lewis as well, not talking. I'm going to actually head out, unfortunately. I've got my nan here. So she's visiting. She's 80 years old. She's getting very, very old. So I need to spend time with her. She's staying over at mine. So, yeah, big up to every single one of you guys. And I'll be watching the stream, so I want to hear what you guys are talking about.
Big up, Sadiq.
Big up
Big up
to
to you.
Enjoy the rest of
Later,
the
bro.
evening.
Take
Take
care.
care, bro.
See you later, brother. Take care.
Allow
Cheers.
me to say my piece, my friend. The answer to that question is really simple. Should Maresca be sacked? Absolutely yes. He doesn't belong there. He shouldn't have been there in the first place. The problem is that you can't make that decision in a vacuum. We're already stuck in this project, right? So once you're in here, because what are you going? They're going to fire him? Are they going to change their model? They're not. So that's why it's not worth in the end probably firing Maresca right now and just sticking to the project because you're all in. You're stuck. They're not going to go buy a world class number 9, a world class center back, and go for the title. That's not going to happen. So what's the point in bringing in somebody to drive? Because somebody will say at Bayern they brought in Company, for example, right? A young coach, but to drive a Ferrari. But if the team's not a Ferrari and the coach is not a Ferrari, you're not going for the title. You guys tell me, what moves has the club made to win titles? What transfer has signaled that? What intent
Lewis,
have we had?
even a Ferrari needs a driver, needs an engine. So having a Ferrari without having the relevant parts to it, the Ferrari is not going to go nowhere if there's no one there to drive it, turn the ignition, and even that person who is there to drive it needs to know how to drive it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this is the problem. This is the problem. We have got the best car in the race, but we don't have the best driver at this point in time, and this is what we need to address. The thing is this: I understand that people are saying if we sack Maresca now, there's a payout we have to pay him. Who's gonna come in? All of that. I get that. Don't sack him now, but start looking at alternatives and start looking at them seriously. And just like, and again, we hope this is true because it might not be, but we hope this is true. Chelsea are currently negotiating with Mike Mignon as his contract is about to expire for him to sign a deal in January for him to join us in the summer on a free transfer to replace Robert Sanchez. That is something that I can live with if it is true, but do the same for Maresca because Maresca will not be the one to win us the Champions League and will not be the one to win us the Premier League. And if we are going to be coming into the season after season, with the expectation to finish in the top 4 as our goal, we have digressed. We have digressed. Because if you remember, not so long ago, finishing in the top 4 was not an achievement for Chelsea Football Club. Finishing in the top 4 was the standard, the main, the bare minimum. Now for us, we are celebrating finishing in the top 4. We've digressed. You guys are speechless today, man. You guys are all speechless.
I think it's a really difficult one, man. With this kind of I sat and I've listened to what everyone's had to say, and it's like, I don't know, man. For me, it's just like trying to look at the objective situation that we're in. Do you know what I mean? Because Roman Abramovich isn't the owner anymore. There are myriad financial things in place that mean you can't just go out and keep throwing money around like we used to be able to when we used to win all these things. We've got different owners. Football's different. The players are different. The managers are different. Everything is different. The only thing that hasn't changed is the fan mentality. And I get you, man. Like I say, we talked about this before. Like, I want to win. I want to see my club do the absolute best it can. and win the Premier League and win the Champions League because we've got the infrastructure at the base level to be able to go and do stuff like that. But to maintain the expectations that we had during the Roman Abramovich era, which was, despite winning that Champions League, ultimately had been tailing off for a while after Antonio Conte. It wasn't exactly like we were building towards sustained success after Antonio Conte won the league either. And winning the Champions League, a lot of people would tell you was, it wasn't exactly like, Tuchel put together a really good, kind of run in that. But the league performance was awful. We've been buying terribly for a really long time. Really, really, really long time. So I just can't get on board with this idea that I've got to keep the same expectations now as I did when we had all of that other stuff going on, because the whole thing has changed, man. Like, I look at Liverpool, man, and yes, Liverpool doing really well right now. Liverpool loved every single season they had under Klopp. Do you know what I mean? And it took a while for them to get there. He didn't just come in and then start winning. Yeah, he won one Premier League and one Champions League the entire time that he was there. And Liverpool fans are gassed about it. Absolutely gassed about it. So that is where I see our project aiming to take us. Whether it gets there or not is another thing. But I don't see our project getting us to City level, winning 5 in 6, because I think that is so unlikely. And if they did break as many rules as they had, they did, and obviously, to get there and this and that and the other, do you know what I mean? I don't really see that level of domination. And it never, it's not often in the Premier League, apart from, do you know what I mean, when Man United did it, and obviously City have just done it for a bit. It's not often you get that level of domination. So for me, it's like what I would think I would be happy with as a fan is to get to the kind of level that Klopp got Liverpool to. Now, is Maresca Klopp? Obviously not. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's the case, but just in terms of my expectations, if we're challenging for silverware on a regular basis, then I think that's where every team wants to be, man. Do you know what I mean? Football Therapy put out, no, not Football Therapy, his other channel, Football Yannick, he put out a really interesting video the other day, and it was like, why are all football fans of top clubs miserable at the moment? Arsenal fans are miserable, apart from Liverpool to an extent. City fans are miserable. Arsenal fans are miserable. Everyone's miserable. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even just like, us in isolation. It's just like all these teams all fan bases for the most part are kind of feeling the same way at the moment. And I think it is about this adaptation. And it's interesting. It's almost something that Lewis said before we went live. It's like the morning of expectation, isn't it? Because our expectation is for football to be how it was. And we're watching things change en masse all over the place with the rules, the regulations, the projects, the new types of managers and players and everything that's come in. And I think that is kind of, as fans, we're going through this transitional period as well. So, I'm maybe rambling a little bit now, but that's just, I can't keep the same expectation I had under the Roman Abramovich era, because none of the pieces that made that thing happen are there anymore, and the rules of the game have changed.
So you think we should be changing our mindset into accepting less?
Not necessarily, but I think that it's to expect us to be a title challenging team this season. Like I say, we've been, I was here from before the start of the season. We all did our predictions, and I was like, I don't think we're going to win this season. I don't think we've got what it takes to have a title challenge. Objectively, that was how I thought it was. My expectation was do better than we did last season, because it was something Sadiq said as well. Do you know what I mean? Sadiq said it really eloquently. Things are a bit different now, and is it you grow a little bit season on season? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? So as long as we do better than we did last season in the competitions that we're in, forgetting about the Club World Cup and the Conference League, because Conference League obviously was lower level opposition and the Club World Cup was, kind of new and not. But as long as we do better as we did in the Champions League, we have a proper cup run, and we, go as far as into the Champions League as we can, and we objectively have a better season than last season, and it shows progress, I will be happy. Do you know what I mean? Truth be told. And I want to enjoy football as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, football isn't just trophies for me. Like, football is enjoying watching your team play well. And I know that's not happening at the moment. Do you know what I mean? No one's enjoying watching Chelsea play at the moment, for sure. I'm not saying change your expectation. I'm not talking about celebrating draws. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you want to celebrate a win, don't you? But I don't think it's about celebrating. I think it's about not letting it take you to this kind of dark place where you're like, oh, everything's falling apart and it's rubbish. And for me, it's just an exercise in trying to enjoy supporting my team.
All right. Just checking the likes because I have a feeling we're a little bit behind on likes. There's over 30 of you currently in the stream, and we've got 20 likes. 20 likes. Do you know what? When I first started these streams, I was looking at 50, 60, 100 likes, but now I've lowered my expectations. So 20 likes for me today is all right. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I've learned to accept 20 likes is okay. All right, but I'm still gonna ask for more. I'm accepting 20 likes is okay, but I'm still gonna ask for more because I know you guys can do better. So I demand better from you. The people in the chat, I demand better from you. And this is what we do as fans. As fans, we can accept finishing top 4. We can accept winning maybe the Carabao Cup and finishing top 4 this season, and we'll be like, okay, it wasn't too bad. We can accept it, but that is not what we're demanding. We're demanding better. We're demanding the Premier League. We're demanding the Champions League. We're demanding the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. We're demanding everything because we're fans. That's what we're supposed to do. We are the ones who are pushing our team to do better. And if we start to accept them doing okay, then who's pushing the team to do better? That's what I'm saying. So yes, we as individuals can manage our expectations but as a fan base, I am always going to be asking for more from my team because if I start to be happy with 20 likes on my stream, I'm going to get 10 likes next stream. I'm going to get 5 likes next stream. And the one after, no one's even going to be watching. So this is what we're going to be doing for our club. If we start to accept the lower standard, then we're going to accept lower and lower and lower. And by the time we wake up, we're Manchester United, and we're going to be fighting for relegation at the end of the season. And that's not what I want to see happen to us. And it could happen to us. And I don't want to see that. And that is why we need to hold these people to account. And that is why I can see Maresca. I mean, I was on a stream, I think it was on Friday night on Footy Judge Mo. By the way, great content. They treat the Chelsea fans a bit harsh on there, but great content. If you're watching Mo, big up to you. But the expectation and the way that we defend our club is becoming difficult. It's becoming difficult for me to have this argument with fans from other clubs and to try to look at Maresca as being someone better. We had a comparison between the managers, the current managers, and they were saying to me, "Do you realistically think Maresca is a good manager?" I can't say he's a good manager. What I said was, I think he has the potential to become a good manager. Because looking at what he has done, he is not a good manager. He's not a bad manager, but when you compare him to the managers we're competing with for titles, they're miles ahead of him, including Mikel Arteta, who we are always bantering. I think he is a better manager than Enzo Maresca right now. And that is not a statement I enjoy saying. But I think it's a fact. Enzo Maresca will not be able to get Chelsea to be challenging for the Premier League. While Mikel Arteta, yes, he's been in the job for a bit longer, but he's consistently been up there. Yeah, they bottle it right at the end, but that's what they do. We need a manager who will be able to get us in contention. I think it was somebody here in the chat. Let me just bring it up. Where is it? I think it was Mazza. I can't find a comment, but he was talking about building up the Ferrari and making sure the Ferrari is there, and you're able to drive it. You're able to make it in the right way. Right now, I'm getting feedback from one of your mics, guys. I don't know who it is, but I'm getting some feedback from one of your mics. Right now, we have got a squad that is lacking, and it is lacking because of bad decisions in the transfer window. It is lacking because we did not give the driver of the Ferrari, Enzo Maresca, what he asked for. He asked for a defender. We didn't give him that. He asked for a goalkeeper. We didn't give him that. Instead, we decided to go and buy wingers, which I believe, is deliberately leaving out of the squad because he's trying to make a statement. I did not want Gittins and Garnacho. I wanted a defender and a goalkeeper. Because the fact that he is refusing to give him game time, it's a statement, lads. It's a statement. He is having, and again, I don't like seeing this kind of, tit for tat and subliminal messages going back and forth from the ownership and Enzo Maresca, as we saw, with other managers. He is unhappy with the tools that he's got, and that is why he's doing a bad job. Potentially. Because why would he commit the same mistake twice? Because if something didn't work for you last time and you try it again, that says more about you than about anyone else. I don't know.
Maybe that's just his approach to red cards. That you can't really say in hindsight that he was never going to put Gittins or Garnacho on. The red card changes things, and maybe that is his approach. Whether we agree with it or not, I don't agree with how he approaches the red card. But if that's how he sees approaching a red card, then he will never make that decision of putting two attacking players on. He will go defensive, so you'll never see them. But I can't sit here and say that if we didn't get that red card, that those two players wouldn't come on, because I'm pretty sure they would. Because at the moment, for me, Esteval and Neto are our best wingers, so I don't expect Garnacho or Gittins to start above them. But if we didn't get that red card, I'm pretty sure those two players would have been on the pitch at some time. So I think it's more about how he approaches.
Just going to interject for 1 second. I agree with what you just said there 100%. And I think so does Maresca. And that is why he is playing the best wingers. And that is why I don't think he wanted those other wingers. And this is what I'm saying. He wanted something else. Sorry?
You need depth. He can't just have those two wingers. And we obviously sold Madueke, so
100% in regards to depth. But when you are going and spending that kind of money, because £95 million is not pocket change, they could have addressed what he wanted them to address at the same time.
We lost two wingers though, didn't we? That's the thing. Mudryk got banned and Jadon Sancho was only a loan, so we were going to have to replace those wingers one way or the other. It isn't even really just the Madueke sale. If anything, Esteval, who we'd already bought, was the replacement for the Madueke sale, but we needed to buy.
He had nothing on the left side apart from George.
Do you know what I mean?
Esteval we've had for a couple of seasons now. We were waiting for him to join.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. But we'd already bought the replacement for Madueke before Madueke went out, I think. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of like bringing in Gittins and Garnacho, they were to replace Mudryk and Jadon Sancho, who were two wingers that we started last season with. So we were going to have to buy those two wingers at some point anyway. And yes, it was a lot of money to spend, I guess. And there's definitely, Jamie Gittins doesn't seem Premier League ready.
Let me ask you one question.
Yeah, far away.
Who do you think would perform better? And putting aside all of the politics today, Raheem Sterling or Gittins?
To be honest, I think the thing is we saw from Sterling that he had lost the thing that he had, because when he was playing for us, he kept on trying to take the game on all by himself all of the time. And I think that Gittins would be more likely to play to Maresca's ideal and the system itself. So don't get me wrong, like if the question is who's a better footballer, I'd probably Raheem Sterling based on what he's achieved and his experience and stuff. But like I say, the reason that we were struggling with Raheem Sterling when he was playing is because he was trying to do everything by himself, and he kept on trying to shoot when there was opportunities to pass, and he kept trying to dribble through 3 or 4 players at a time. Do you know what I mean? Rather than kind of playing with the team. Maybe that's the reason that he's ended up in the bomb squad.
I have a lot of criticism about the way Raheem Sterling plays. But I also know that Raheem Sterling is costing us an arm and a leg.
Yeah, that's true.
And right now he's costing us an arm and a leg, and he's not playing.
Yeah.
Because we have got players that we've also invested in the squad. I think the whole management, the whole philosophy that has been implemented in regards to the whole transfer window, and we were talking about our rating for the transfer window, and a lot of us rated it 6, 7, some even rated it as an 8. Outgoings, when it comes to getting money to come back into the club and selling some of the players, we almost seem to be doing well on that. We do seem to be able to offload players quite well, better than many other clubs. But when it comes to signing players, we didn't do what was needed by the manager. And this, for me, is the issue. When I am sitting here criticizing Enzo Maresca, I'm criticizing his decision-making. But I also understand that Enzo Maresca right now has a massive problem with the squad that he has been given. Enzo Maresca was asked again about Disasi. And he gave the same question. And what did he say this time? He gave the same answer. He said, I still haven't heard back from the club. So he posed the question in the last press conference, and he's like, the club need to tell me about this. And now he's saying, I still haven't heard back from the club. Now, I know some will say, oh, he's not been registered, he's not eligible, X, Y, and Z, but this is all things that can be fixed, that can be addressed. The issue is this. The issue is he doesn't have the full control of his squad. And the fact that he doesn't have the full control of his squad, and the fact that the management, the ownership are also interfering, which they had done before, and from what I understand it, they are continuing to do, because Enzo Maresca was asked about this as well, and he said the ownership are always coming into the dressing room. We'll lose or draw, they're coming in. I'd love to know what it is that they're doing in there. Now I know, and I think you might have mentioned this on one of your videos, Kai. In America, that's the norm, and maybe Lewis can fill us in on this, and Nick can fill us in on this. But owners go into the dressing room after a game to mingle with the players. It's a normal thing in America, in American sport. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've not experienced it, but this isn't normal for us here.
It's not normal at all in football, and they're not football people. Like if it was somebody has been a football director for 50 years, an ex-player or something, even then it's questionable, because you need that divide that I think it was Sadiq that mentioned earlier. You need that divide. That's basic leadership 101. You do not undercut your manager by standing behind him. You undermine him in front of your players. And that brings me back to Maresca a little bit about the management. Look, I love leadership. I coach people on leadership and on the side of business. I can't even figure out what kind of leader he is. That's how green and not evolved he is. He's not one of these go and kill for my players kind of a leader. He exposes them often, not in criticism, but calls them out for being young and experienced, and that's why we get punished. So he's not like go to town and defend my players at all. I don't see the kind of leader that he is. And we don't have leadership in the squad either. Our players haven't evolved enough. They haven't been around, and there's not these old heads that grab you by the scruff of the neck and teach you. You can't become a good Gary Cahill if you don't play next to JT. You can't. That's one of the beauties. Look, I'm from Ecuador. When Moises Caicedo, and that was his words in his dream, he wanted to go play in Chelsea, and he's pretty much a Chelsea fan because he wanted to play with N'Golo Kante. That was his whole dream obsession. And you know how much that guy would have benefited for spending 1 year training with that man. That's kind of the point. None of our players. So the analytics are telling our ownership this young player can evolve into that player, but you're not taking into account that you're withdrawing the atmosphere where those players normally learn from by having a very experienced coach playing with these battle-proven players on the field and on the training field. They don't have that. So I don't even know how that gamble is going to pay off. How these young players that we bring in, how are they supposed to grow into that projection that they have? I just don't see it.
I want to know Kai's theory, man.
Go ahead,
I
Kai.
have
Go
a
ahead. Go
theory.
ahead.
I have a theory.
Go ahead.
And the chat, you can tell me if this is utter bollocks, but just hear me out, right? So normally in football, when you bring in a manager, ideally your ownership and that want to build the squad for that manager, right? Because that's the easiest way that makes sense. This ownership don't want a manager, they want a coach to coach players. I don't think they're building a team for Maresca. I think they're building a team for themselves. And a few reasons for it. They want versatile players, which means no matter if they sack managers, replace them, if the players are versatile, they'll be able to play for anybody. First point. So if Maresca's not going to be it, they'll sack him on, they'll bring into another one, and they'll have a group of young players that are versatile. Next factor. The reason why they don't go for experience and they keep it young players are impressionable. They're easier to coach and they're easier to teach. When you've played years and years in the game, you have your own style, you have your own, your background in football, and sometimes you see it with a lot of older players. You remember when AVB come in and he had a massive falling out with JT because they're the older players. I mean, he was roughly the same age, and they come with that. If you've got a bunch of young players, you can coach them, you can put your ideology into them, you can coach them or get them to be coached in a specific way to not build a team for one specific manager, but just build a team. And I think that's why they're only going for young players. So then I don't think that we'll ever see. I mean, I'll be very surprised if we get Mike Maignan in January. I would happily have him, but I'd be very surprised because I think the basis of this is not to build it for one particular manager. I think it's to build a team that can be completely versatile no matter what happens, and have a team that is going to be together for a very, very, very long time. And all they're going to do is if a young player is not good enough, they will replace it with another young player and find one that sticks. We got lucky with Cole Palmer. That 10 position is his now until he decides to leave. And that's what is the downside of it, because if we're not performing, and we've got players like Caicedo and Palmer that deserve to be in Premier League and Champions League winning teams, if they start not doing it and we're not winning, they will eventually leave. And that is the only downside that the owners will have on this, is that they will need to see some kind of winning form. They're probably going, look, we've won the Conference League, we've won the Club World Cup, they've tasted a bit of winning, they can see that we want to win things, and maybe that's bought us a few more years to continue to build this squad. But I'm telling you now, the building is not over. The young players will still keep coming in, because it's not about building for one manager, it's about building for any manager for the entire, forever, how long they're going to be in here for.
I have a question for you to answer about that, and not a counter, but something I would like you also to explain into your theory, is the manager contract lengths, because it's been really weird. Graham Potter got a 7-year deal. Basically unprecedented for a manager. Pochettino then got a 2-year deal. So Pochettino's deal fits into your theory, but then Maresca gets a 5-year deal. Now your average manager deal is 3 years, isn't it? Mm. So how does that weird contract length scenario for the managers factor into your theory?
So the Graham Potter one, I'm going to put down to the Todd Bowley era, because we saw he was the one that brought him in. He was the one that was doing all the transfers and things, and he's the one that's come from the Dodgers that's had 10-year, had the same manager. So I think that's always going to happen. I think Poch was always going to be a stopgap manager until they found the one that they could invest in. 5 years. So if I think about youth football, right, and I'm not talking 18s, I'm talking all the way back.
Kai, just 1 second. Maresca is the one that they found to invest in.
They want a coach that doesn't want to have, what was the biggest problem? Or Tuchel just wanted to coach, right? So ideally, they didn't want a coach that wanted to be involved in everything, the transfer and everything. So in theory, Tuchel would have been the perfect manager for them, but they had a falling out, felt that he was losing dress, and whatever their reason was, disgusted with the decision, but it happened. Maresca is, in whatever meeting they had, he was happy just to be the coach and coach the players. Now he's obviously not happy with it, and this is similar to what happened with Poch. But when you're doing youth football and you're starting from the under sevens, under eights, you're gonna have that team for a long period of time to develop those players and bring it through. And I think that's why they have the 5-year contracts, is because they want this manager to
Kai,
coach the players.
when you select the manager, you look
Yeah.
at his resume, and
Yeah.
what did
But they're not
Maresca
thinking about
bring?
winning.
But thank you, thank you, thank
In the
you,
start,
thank
you
you.
think they're not thinking about winning right now
Thank
because of
you.
the start of the
Thank
project.
you.
They're thinking about
That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
100%.
say.
team to become
Yeah, no,
winners.
100%. That's what I
Yeah.
think,
You,
man.
you can bring in.
Then-
So for me, I would
then-
have preferred, when we were looking
then
at
I-
Poch,
then-
to bring in Luis
then I-
Enrique. right?
Then I agree with your statement 100%. Then I agree with your statement 100%. If winning is not the objective, Maresca fits the bill 100%. 100%.
Because you know the fact that winning's not the objective when they come out and say top 4 is the expectation, not top 4 and a domestic trophy, not top 4 and it's top 4 is the expectation, which
that the official
straight away
line?
says to me they are trying to build towards this winning team. And as much as you'd love to say you bring in one manager and this team will become a winning team overnight, that's not with young players. It takes time. I feel when you don't have experienced players around young players, I feel like you let them down because you're not offering them the guidance to become better players. This is the route that they don't want to take, because experienced players that have been in the game for a longer time are difficult to mould into a different ideology, a different model. They want young players that they can mould into their own model and into their own way of thinking. So any player that's coming in, I guarantee when they're having their sit down about their contract and yeah, I agree, Chelsea FC should be a winning team. That should be our mentality. But I'm literally talking of what I think the owners are doing.
Yeah.
Literally what I was saying, man.
You asked me at the beginning why I'm like I was doing. I'm like, sorry.
I'll come to you, Lewis. I just saw some comments in regards to the whole Nico Jackson thing, and I want to just put this out there, and then we'll go to Lewis. And by the way, Nee, you need to put some work in this, brother. You've been quiet too much. So
I'll tell you the reason why I've been very quiet. I don't want to interrupt, and I'm too positive, and I don't want to drive these away.
Do you
That's
know what?
why I've been quiet.
After Lewis, I'm expecting you to jump in and give us some positivity. But I want to say this about Nicholas Jackson. And again, I am not comparing because I am trying to say one is better than the other, but I am comparing to show you the approach and how certain approaches had certain mentality. If we were in the same situation with Nicholas Jackson being in Bayern Munich and we needed him back because of the injury to Delap, and we asked him to come back and he refused, do you guys think he could have done that under Roman Abramovich's time, when Roman Abramovich asked him to come back? See, this is what I'm saying. Control.
Mob will be turning up.
He would have. Listen, Delap gets injured. Nico Jackson's still on the plane. He's like, "All right, pilot, turn this shit around, man. We're going back to London."
Yeah, mate.
Literally, he would not even land in Munich. He'd be like, "Turn it around, man. We're going back." I don't want to get that message from Roman Abramovich. That's the difference. Control. These guys, one, they don't know what they are doing. They are learning on the job. And two, because of the number of mistakes that they have made, they don't know how to fix these mistakes. It is one after the other, after the other, after the other. They have done some really, really good things when it comes to certain transactions, certain clauses, certain contracts. They do know how to work their way around financial aspects. But when it comes to the actual footballing side of things, they are fumbling hard. I'm going to go to Lewis.
Just before Lewis goes in there, I just want to give one example. And this is the biggest reason, right? Where did the sporting directors come from?
Brighton.
Isn't it mad that no matter what coach goes into Brighton, they always do well?
Yeah, that's a great shout.
They can always do exactly the same as the previous manager. Why? Because the sporting directors were the original ones that set up that squad. It's crazy, isn't it? That's exactly what they're trying to do here. But unfortunately, it ain't working.
But this comes to the actual structure. So the sporting directors do have guidance, do have a plan, do have instructions that they are following, that they are working towards. We don't seem to be able to do that because a number of times deals were collapsing. Sporting directors weren't able to get them across the line, and what happens? Iqbali goes in there, Todd Bowley goes in there. Now, if the sporting directors are unable to close this deal, it's not because they can't do it. It's because they don't want to make those concessions that could then, bite them in the arse with another deal, a month or two down the line. But when Iqbali comes in and Todd Bowley comes in to give it over the line, we're happy because we got the deal done. But what are the consequences? What are the things that have happened to get that deal done that we're not aware of? And that's the issue. Lewis, take it away, Baba. You're on mute, Lewis.
We can't cherry pick. We talk about Brighton, right, in the positive side of Brighton, but Brighton finds space for James Milner to play, to be there as a senior head and in training a year or two ago, and still have Sturridge. So we can't say this is the good thing that we're trying to take and we're trying to compare ourselves to Bayern in this thing. When you put it all together, it's a shambles. And Kai put it simple, and that's why I'm happy. You asked me at the beginning of the feed, how's it going? I'm happy because I know this. I know this ownership is not trying to win. They're trying to build a financially sustainable model, and I think they're making a series of gambles that even financially may not pay off in the long run. That's my point, because what happens, like they said earlier, some of these players, I'm going to tell you right now, Moises Caicedo, he's not going to hang out for 5 years. He's not going to hang out for 5 years if you don't bring badass players around him and he feels he's going to win something. Somebody's going to lure him away. And you're going to say, no, we have long contracts, they can't lure him away. You're going to lose him. You're going to lose him mentally if he's not in an environment where he's competing, because he's a world-class player that can play in any team in the world. But I know that's where the team is at, so I don't suffer over it. But I can be negative and say, I hate this plan, I hate what we're doing, but every time that a Chelsea player throws on that shirt, I'm going to support him. I'm going to root for him. And I'm going to hope that we can win 5-0 every game and kick everyone's butt up and down the street. But I'm not going to lie to myself and try to give credit to these people and try to think that they're trying to win. They're not. They want to win enough. They want to sustain the model. They want to protect the brand. They want to have the legacy of this company that they bought. That as long as they stay in and around a certain place, over time, brought to present value, they're going to double their money. It's just all they have to do is not destroy the brand, and they've done their financial business.
Nee, take it away, brother. Let's get some positivity.
Bring it. We need it.
Where do I even start from? A lot has been said, which I do disagree, but I don't want to jump into it and trying to make it sound like I'm debating other panel members. So I'm just kind of like, okay, let it flow. People love that aspect of it, and I always kind of stay in that positive vibes, and not everyone. Negative sells more than positivity. Now we're losing, we're getting red cards, so hearts are boiling, people are upset. No one is happy right now. So anything positivity that you say, no one is gonna take you serious. No one's gonna listen to you because they want freedom now. They want to win now, and everything has to be now. But if you look at the bigger picture on where we started from and where we are now, if you look at it, then you should know where we are. If you know what football is all about today, you kind of not that I'm not saying you have to accept it. Look at the bigger picture. Then you give time to yourself. Liverpool took over 30 years to win back Premier League again. I don't think that we should be in that. We should be in that way of trying to win the Premier League as soon as possible without building foundation. It takes time to build the foundation. With these young players, they have to grow into it. Liverpool spent lots of money, the Sadio Manes and all that coming in before a judging club comes in. Even they brought in a gaffer that have won the Premier League with them, which is Kenny Dalglish, right? He couldn't even do it again. Arteta. Is Arteta better than Maresca? Mo said that. I don't think so. Arteta has been on the job for over 6 years. Maresca has been there for a year in a few games. One
And that's
season, a
why
few
that's
games.
why, and that's why Arteta is better, because he's got more experience.
Exactly. Will Enzo Maresca
Less
be
trophies,
better? Yeah, and more trophy. I mean, he's been there for over 6 years without any
Di
international
Matteo, Di
recognition or trophy.
Di Matteo has the Champions League trophy. There's a lot of managers that are better than Di Matteo that don't have the Champions League trophy.
But we saw what happened after Di Matteo, because we know he's not good enough. But he was there as top gut coach just to take over.
That's why trophies alone is not a good benchmark to have. That's why experience. That's why I'm saying Arteta. I don't think Arteta is a great manager, but I think he's better than Maresca.
In which way? I mean,
Finishing second, consistently, showing a very consistent level of performance from his team.
Arsenal fans want him out for winning.
They do. If Arteta was the manager of Chelsea Football Club, I wouldn't be happy with that. I'm just
Arteta
saying.
finished 8th in his first season, man.
I'm
It
not.
was-
What, Mo? The
What-
same
what-
thing. The
one
same
second,
thing.
one
The fan base will say. This is not a standard.
Arteta finished 8th in his first season.
Yeah.
Arteta is a better manager today than Enzo Maresca is today.
Yeah, but
Give
in
Enzo-
two,
give En-
giving him,
gi-
do you know what I mean?
Give Enzo Maresca 6 years, he would be a better manager. I have no doubt in that. Right now, when we're comparing the two people with the experience that they have, with the achievements that they have, I believe Arteta is a better manager. Do I think Enzo Maresca will be a better manager 6 years down the line? 100%. Because what Enzo Maresca, the mistakes he's making right now, I'm sure he's learning from them. He's not learning quick enough for us, because we want to see tangible results right now. But is he going to be a better manager down the line because he's had these experiences? 100%. Because if he doesn't learn from his mistakes, he won't be in a job for very, very long. But right now, Arteta for me is a better manager than Enzo Maresca. I'm not saying Enzo Maresca. I'm not saying the ceiling for Arteta is higher than Enzo Maresca. I believe Arteta will not get any better than what he is right now. I think Enzo Maresca will develop to be a better manager. Right now, I am judging on what we have right now, and right now we don't have a very good manager.
Yeah, no, that's fair
So-
enough.
so- I interrupted Lee, so I apologize. Continue, Lee.
But if you say right now, since when did Enzo Maresca become a bad manager? Is it because of the last few games from the red card?
Did I
at
say-
Manchester
did I-
United? Is that
did
what
I-
you're looking at?
Did I say he was a bad?
Used-
Did I say he was a bad manager?
No, you say he's not a better manager. I didn't say bad. I said a better manager. He's not a better manager. Is it because of those two last results? But if you use those last results to justify his career,
it's because Arteta's had more experience. He's been doing this for longer. That is why I think Arteta is a better manager, because he's had the experience, he's had the consistency in results with his club, with his team, and that is why I think right now Arteta is a better manager than Enzo Maresca is right now.
Mo, we see better managers based on what they've won and how they win. And Carlo Ancelotti would not be a better manager if he hadn't won the Champions League and then the La Liga trophies and all those domestic trophies won. Pep Guardiola wouldn't be a better manager if he hasn't won all those trophies. The same thing, Jose Mourinho would not be a better manager if he hasn't been able to win the Champions League trophies that he's won in the past for how long his career has been. The same thing we got to judge Arteta.
I'm not sure you're understanding what I'm saying, Lee. I'm not saying to you that Arteta is a great manager. I'm saying to you Arteta has better experience, has achieved more in the time that he's been managing than Enzo Maresca. I'll say it again. I believe Enzo Maresca, with time, if Enzo Maresca had the same amount of time in this level of management as Mikel Arteta, Enzo Maresca would be a better manager. When I'm talking about a manager, I'm talking about their mentality. I'm talking about the way they're managing the squad. What I've seen from Enzo Maresca right now doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Could he improve? 100%. Will he improve? In my opinion, 100%. But right now, I don't think he is the level that we want or we need. And, Kai made a good point. And Kai said, he is the right manager for this model that the ownership is trying to work with. And I agree with Kai 100% because I think he ticks the boxes that they want. Everyone everyone knows there is no comparison between Graham Potter and Thomas Tuchel. There is no comparison. You can't compare the two. Thomas Tuchel was sacked, and we got Graham Potter coming in.
Mate, you know that's literally what the players were calling him at the training ground, man. It was so tragic.
I deliberately dropped it that way, but I did it. I should get an Oscar for my acting. But Graham Potter is not a better manager than Thomas Tuchel. But and the ownership know that. Everyone knows that. Iqbali and Todd Bowley know that 100%. So why did they sack Thomas Tuchel? For the same reason Kai just mentioned. Because Thomas Tuchel, he's got an opinion. He's got a mindset. He wants to do X, Y, and Z with the team. He wants to play in a certain way. He wants to achieve certain things. And he ain't listening to no one telling him he can't do this or he can't do that. And that is why Thomas Tuchel is a winner. That is why Conte is a winner. Ancelotti is a winner. Jose Mourinho is a winner. These guys win because they have their personality. They impose their power, their plan, their action. Maresca doesn't have any of that. Maresca is decisive playing. I don't know. They haven't told me. That's Maresca. Okay.
Yeah, he bottles it in press conferences.
He bottles it, man. He bottles it. Now you're telling me he's better than Arteta. That's subjective. We can disagree. Will he get better? I think he has the potential to be a lot better than Arteta. But right now, as we're speaking, Arteta is a better manager.
I think, Mo, that's a safe thing to say. And that happens with a lot about, we compare Chelsea's future to other current statuses of teams or coaches or players. And that's troublesome. It's okay to say we're not there. It just face the reality that maybe a player's not there or the coach is not there. An experienced coach, his first year in the Premier League, he couldn't break a low block for almost 3 months. I don't hold that against him. Why would I expect him to do that? And yeah, maybe 4 years, 4 seasons deep. Yeah, he'll be better at that. He'll be managing the press conferences better. He'll be managing red cards hopefully better. But why would we expect anything different? I'm not negative for saying that. You know what I mean? It's just that's the thing. We have to accept sometimes people are being negative. No, you got a guy from the Championship. That's your coach. He only has 1 season in the Premier League. What to expect? But I can also say that's bullshit. I hate that. I want to win. I love my team. I'm in a hurry to do better. That's okay. And I think that makes us necessarily negative is just facing that reality and not lie to ourselves.
So I've got a question for the panel, like genuinely. Do you think based on, like, let's say, the team we've got right now with the exact same injuries and the exact same problems and whatever, do you think that a different manager, based on the youth and experience and everything we're talking about, do you think a different manager could be doing significantly better than Enzo Maresca is?
110%.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. We have seen over the past few games, since the start of the season, we have a problem in defense. We lost Levi Colwell. We are fumbling it in defense.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't we tried to change the formation to adjust or to adapt for that? Maybe play 3 at the back. Maybe get the one of the midfielders, one of the DMs, to fall back into a more central defensive role. There is different ways we can approach this. I'm not a football manager. My experience in managing football is FIFA. I play FIFA, and when I've got issues with some of the players, where I get a player gets a red card, I'm thinking of the formation. I'm trying to fit this here, this there, trying to work it out on FIFA. Yeah. So this is an issue that you've got. And I'm not saying play five, play 3 defenders or play 5 at the back. I'm not saying that's going to work, but I'm saying try something different.
That kind of is what he tried, though, isn't it? If anything, he took all of our attackers off so he could have loads of defenders.
He did it. He did it when he got a red card.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is set up differently. Set up differently to address that issue. He seems to be stuck in a one-dimensional mindset. Same formation. I mean, do you guys remember Thomas Tuchel when he first came in? We had a different setup every single game for the first 10 games. The first 10 games, we were having a mad problem trying to predict the lineup, because formations he was tinkering with, lineups he was tinkering with, until he found what is settling for him, what is working for him. Conte literally changed the entire formation midway through the season. Do something. Change something.
That was Conte's go-to, though, wasn't it? I think the thing is that it
became his go-to.
No, that was his thing before. So I think I remember reading about this when Conte came in. There was a conversation that the board didn't want Antonio Conte to play 3 at the back because it was too defensive and too stodgy and whatever, and they wanted to try and play more attacking football. So he experimented with a 4-2-4 at the beginning, and he was playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek as a shadow striker and stuff. And it was halfway through that Arsenal game, wasn't it, that we'd been losing a few games, and halfway through that Arsenal game, he changed to 3 at the back. And from that, we went on to win the league. But that was Antonio Conte in a similar way to... Antonio Conte wasn't adaptable. He's a one-dimensional system guy. Do you know what I mean? That's 100% a thing. Thomas Tuchel definitely was more adaptable. But I don't think Antonio Conte was an adaptable manager. He is a 3 at the back, wing backs, inverted, forwards, sort of. That's kind of his whole thing, wasn't it? And the only reason he didn't do that at the start was because they didn't want to, play this kind of stodgy defensive football, I think.
Let me ask a question. You're bringing up a good point, Miller Matt. I felt like Conte played the sum of the parts. The team did better than the sum of the parts. When you have Moses playing on right back or right wing back, et cetera, right? So I think that pose it to you right now. Is the team playing better than the sum of its parts? And please don't use the last 2 matches, because that's unfair, as red cards or whatever. You got to remember the whole thing. When we did really well last season, when we had that horrible slump, when we had a run of games against inferior opposition, we had 5 games, man. We should have gotten 5 in a row, and we had that dip. With all that included, in the team that we have right now, are we at the level of the players? Are they playing beyond their level as a unit, or are they below par?
I think that's a difficult... I'd love to know what Kai thinks about this, but I think that's a difficult question, because lots of the players are so young, and we don't necessarily know what the level of a lot of these players is yet. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, isn't it? Because you've got young players. It's you buy them based on their potential. Conte had a team full of players in their prime for the most part. Do you know what I mean? With a couple of youngsters scattered in. So I'm not 100% sure.
I want to show you guys something. I'm going to share something on the screen, just to give you guys an idea. So this is the squad that we won our last Premier League with.
Ooh.
All right, this is. Let me share it. So I'm going to put it on the big screen. Hold on. Let me go back to this one. Let me.
Dave, what a hero.
Yeah. I need to fix this. Hold on.
Just seeing some of the names on there just made me sad.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I don't, man.
100%. So,
Kante, man. Matic. Oh, Matic was so good as well.
I This is me editing as we're going. So let's look at the squad. So Courtois, Victor Moses, Marcus Alonso, Azpilicueta, Cahill, David Luiz, Kante, Matic, Hazard, Diego Costa, and Pedro. Now, substitutes we
bench,
had Begovic, Willian, Fabregas, Batshuayi, Ivanovic, Eduardo, Terry, Chalobah.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
His brother.
Tammy.
wasn't
Oh,
it?
that's his brother. That's his brother. Yeah. Sorry, I just saw that. Yeah. Oscar, Zuma, Loftus-Cheek, Aki. Many of these didn't actually feature, but they were there. Okay.
Ivanovic was a
This
beast.
is this. Now, if we look at the squad, let's compare. Let's have a bit of fun. Yeah, let's have a bit of fun. So positivity.
Yeah.
All right. So, one of you needs to take a tally. So, who is a better goalkeeper, Courtois or Sanchez? I'm not even asking that question. God.
Sanchez, mate. Blatantly Sanchez.
He plays better out the back, man.
Oh, man. Okay. So,
Better pass, better with his feet.
right now it's 1-0 to Conte. Yeah. So 1-0 to Conte. So Moses. Now I believe he was playing as a right back in.
Right wing
Yeah,
back.
as a right
wasn't
wing back. Yeah.
Right wing.
So
Reece James all day.
Moses or Reece James. So Reece James, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's 1-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Marcus Alonso on the left. Marcus Alonso or Cucurella?
Cucurella, man, you got to
Okay,
say.
I'm gonna say Cucurella, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2-1 to Maresca.
And this is where it
Okay.
starts.
Yeah. All right. So Azpilicueta or Cahill. Do you know what? That's 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3-2. David Luiz.
Wait, hold on.
David
Sorry, what was that last one?
Because David Luiz. So we had a 3 at the back with Conte.
Yeah,
so
we
David
did,
Luiz. So David Luiz. Who we should compare him to?
Levi
He would have
Colwill,
been
I guess, isn't
He
it?
would have been the central player. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Tosin, I guess, based on this season.
More. Yeah.
So,
David Luiz all day.
But
yeah,
David Luiz all
Luiz.
day, right? Doesn't matter
Yeah,
who we're
for
comparing
sure.
him with, right? So that's what?
So
That's
2.
4-2?
Hold
4-2?
on, I'm still at 2-2.
No, because we just done Azpilicueta and Cahill
Again, compared to who?
compared to whoever, Chalobah,
Whoever you want.
whoever you want. you
fair,
name
fair,
it.
fair.
Yeah. So what is that? That's
They don't get close. They don't get close to any of
They don't get
those
close.
we have now.
No,
Okay.
no.
So where are we? 5-2 is it?
4-2.
4-2. Okay.
Yeah.
So Caicedo, Kante.
Kante.
I mean,
100%.
Kante
Yeah.
all day. Kante all day.
arguably top 3 ever. Do you know what I mean?
So Matic.
Enzo Fernandez.
Fernandez.
I'll go Matic.
I'd go Enzo. I'd go Enzo.
I'd go Matic, man.
I'll go
100%.
Matic. 100% Matic.
Yeah, I'd go Matic for that one.
Matic is a proper unit.
Ball,
He
ball
was
Yeah.
control,
such
pace,
Yeah,
a
it's
unit, man. He was such a
power,
unit.
and everything.
All right.
When
Well,
Mourinho bought him, we just stopped losing games. It was instant as well. As soon as Matic came into that Mourinho team, we stopped losing games.
to be fair, Matic, I'm looking at what he became.
Screen
when
he
went
scored
to,
as well.
All right, we'll give that to Conte. Do I even have to say Hazard? I mean, I don't need to say on that. It's
Garnacho,
Conte.
mate. Garnacho.
Garnacho.
Yeah, we'd have to put him against Palmer, to be fair.
Yeah, that's a shout, but it's still Hazard in it. Like,
Even though.
even if
yeah.
it's Palmer, it's Hazard in it.
Diego Costa and João Pedro.
Oh yeah,
Diego
Costa.
Costa, yeah,
Costa.
and then 100%, and then Pedro against
Neto.
Pedro Neto.
I think it's better you compare Diego Costa and Delap because of
Delap's
he's a
not playing
traditional
though,
man.
man. We haven't seen enough of Delap. Like,
Still be Costa anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm looking at the position wise, so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no, I agree with you about that. Just we've barely seen him on the pitch, have we?
But lads, this squad of players, yeah. I mean, to be fair, it isn't the best Chelsea squad.
No.
Okay,
No.
but this squad will demolish the current Chelsea squad any day of the week.
I think it goes back to what Kai said before, though, man. Like, this team was bought to win. That was what all of these players individually, Diego Costa, Hazard, Kante, Matic, maybe with the exception of Marcos Alonso, I'm not sure he was, and Victor Moses, do you know what I mean? They kind of were surprises. But that team was bought to win stuff. And our current team hasn't been bought to win stuff. It's been bought to grow into something. So I think 100% what it does is highlights the difference between the projects. Like Roman Abramovich was all about the here and now, 100%. And that is sad to look at that team. Do you know what I mean? It is a little bit. Fabregas on the bench, man, mate.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, on the bench. On the bench.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Conte never used to like Fabregas, but then
Nah.
Diego Costa had a word in his ears like, "Give me that man."
Fabregas is like up there with my favourite ever Chelsea players, man. Maybe that's controversial because he was ex-Arsenal, but I loved him so much.
I love Fabregas. I love
After
Fabregas.
that little interview, I'd have him as our manager at the moment as well, to be honest.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I'm getting the echo again. I don't know who it is, but I'm getting the echo. I would love to see JT being given a coaching role on the staff, because I think he would bring that. I'm getting the echo, guys. I don't know who it is, but I'm getting the echo.
Mine's muted.
Oh, it's Lewis.
No, mine was muted too. That's what I meant. So,
okay, now it's gone. So, I lost my train of thought. JT on the coaching staff. I would love to see that, and I spoke about this in the last stream. I want to see some of the old school establishment get integrated. And when I say establishment, I'm not talking about directors, I'm talking about some of the players, because we had that a lot. We had a lot of our ex-players involved in the coaching at youth level, at the academy, and even involved to a certain degree within the first team. I know Lampard had Jody Morris, and I know Maresca has what's his name,
Willy Caballero
in there as well. But the mentality, because when I hear Fabregas talking, when I hear Ginobili Mikel talking, when I hear Joe Cole talking, I hear that mindset.
Di Matteo had Eddie Newton. Di Matteo had Eddie Newton.
Yeah. Well, when I hear the old school mentality being talked about, and I compare it to this, and Kai is spot on, man. They wanted to win. Winning was what they wanted to do. These lot, it's a byproduct. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, let's just sell some of these babies that we bought for a good price.
we brought in a rugby player to teach us how to have a great winning.
Willy
Yeah.
Isop.
What are you talking
Willy
about?
Isop.
Yeah.
I
He's
think
teaching them the hacker.
It's interesting you said that, actually. I think you were talking about Maresca earlier,
Mentality.
not having.
Sorry, Matt. Mentality. You need to address it in a way where it is going to be productive. We saw some good, some good phases with Maresca last season. We got to give him his flowers. Maresca did do something positive last season, but what has happened this season? Sorry, Matt, I interrupted you, brother.
Just about the mentality rugby guy. It actually, I thought about this right at the start of the stream when we were talking about like discipline and Maresca having respect to the players and stuff. And it just kind of hit me then. I was like, the fact that we've had to bring in that guy actually speaks volumes about Maresca's man management, because what that rugby guy is doing, surely that should be something that the coach is doing. Motivating your players and building that mentality and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I guess you could look at it as good that they're aware that that's a thing that's necessary, but at the same time, you need that to be coming from your coach, don't you? Really, because if he's telling you how to play football, then you want the same guy telling you how to feel and how to be motivated and stuff as well.
Yeah,
so
it's like trying to ask a manager that hasn't coached. Obviously, he won the championship, but hasn't coached at the top level in the top competitions, winning the top competitions. How do you ask that coach to instill a winning mentality into young players if he hasn't done it himself? It's impossible.
Yeah,
But
that's
but
tricky.
but, you, but do you know what? We're going to play against Benfica in a couple of days, and the manager who's going to be there also learned the trade quite young, and he was a interpreter for Bobby Robson. He wasn't even a manager when he was at Barcelona, but he would he won 2 Champions Leagues, 2 European titles quite early doors in his career. When you have it, you have it. Even if you don't have, Maresca. I'm getting the echo again, man. That is so frustrating. I don't know where it's coming from. Maresca as a manager, I don't think he has it, but I think he can learn it. Jose Mourinho, he was born with it. The mentality, the mindset. Pep, Klopp. There's a lot of managers out there that seem to have it as part of their DNA, and some are trying to acquire it. I mean, Frank Lampard, fantastic player, great mentality, great mindset, but tactically, he's clueless. I love the energy that he brings in. I love the passion that he brings in, and he's giving it 110%. Even though Frank Lampard has probably one of the highest IQs in regards to football players, but tactically he just doesn't have that. I love him, and I would love to see him getting involved as part of the establishment, the Chelsea establishment. But sometimes there's that little attribute that we don't all have. Otherwise, we'd all be managers. But Maresca is one of those that needs to acquire it. Frank Lampard, he needs to acquire it, and there's others that are born with it. I don't know.
Is there,
Nee,
is there,
Nee. I want to hear from Nee, man. Nee's quiet, man. Nee, come on.
Look.
Let me hear this. Let me hear this. I see him. He's about to jump in, and then let's give Nee a minute. Go on, Nee. Let's say this.
Like I said, look, there's a few things that you guys have talked about, which sometimes I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. One is the owners going to the dressing room. Did anyone explain what the owners are doing in the dressing room? No one. I know Mo, you said that they even have their office in the dressing room, which I don't think that I think you're over exaggerating on that, unless there's been a proof that they have the office in the dressing room.
Yeah, so apparently, and again, this isn't 100%, but apparently, Enzo Maresca has an office next to the dressing room.
Okay.
And this is the thing. So they'd go in the dressing room, do what they do, and then they'd go and sit in the office and with Maresca, with the players. I don't know, but that's where they seem to be having their meetings, in the office by the dressing room. And again,
said that.
yeah. And again,
So-
how accurate is this? Is it sugarcoating? I don't know.
So all I'm trying to say is, it is. I know anything new in the UK culture regarding football, it's not allowed or it's not wanted in that regard. So I find it very difficult because I know they have introduced dressing room interviews and dressing room some reactions of what goes on in the dressing room and that kind of stuff in the Premier League. But I don't know when it's going to be. They're going to start doing those things. I know there's halftime interview where during halftime before the managers go straight to dressing room, they have a little conversation with them, 2 questions, and then they're done, and then they go away. All this is for content-wise. Also, so my question is, I don't see anything wrong with it. If the manager, because I've seen no one is talking about Evangelist Maranaki for what's the name again? This football club, Evangelist Maranaki
Forest.
for Forest. He does similar thing. He does even worse. He's even with the managers, the players, everything that the manager does. Evangelist Marinaki is there. Why? Because he knows where the money is coming from. He's not going to make any manager just misuse the money. He brings players in. He wants the managers to use them. The same thing. I don't think these owners are going in there and yelling and shouting at these players. Probably maybe a pep talk. We've seen this in NFA every day. Here, Sheila, who owns Silly Ford Football and the Ford company here, he goes in the dressing room when the Lion wins, whether lose or win. He goes there and talk to the players, give them high fives, and that's what she does. And when she's done, she walk away. She doesn't go in there trying to disrespect these players. I don't think these owners, Big Daddy Bali, Todd Bowley, or whoever, either Feliciano, walks into that dressing room because no one knows what is going on in there. But then the media narrative behind it is then they walk in there, and then they walk in there, but no one is coming out to tell us what they are doing wrong. Whether it's negative or positive, we all don't know. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes when I hear these things, I feel like this is even nothing to even talk about. It's just that it is new in English football. The people haven't seen most of it, so they are kind of like annoyed or upset with it. But it is normal. Like I said, that positivity, people don't want to hear it. There's like, what are they doing there? So that's why almost everything that I got to say today is more positive, and you'll be going back and front. I raised one beginning, and Enzo Maresca and Arteta was going back and front. I said, okay, let me drop it because that is what they're going to be. So that is why I'm going to be quiet.
No. Listen, it's fine. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a perspective. No problem. The issue is this, Nate. There is something about football culture that is a little bit I don't know how to explain this, but I'll give you an example. Players in the tunnel, okay, even if they were family, and I'll give you an example, the Neville brothers. When they're in the tunnel, they don't even look at each other. They don't even shake their hands. They don't even acknowledge each other. They will do it at the end of the game. Reason being, keep your focus, keep your mind on the game. That is starting to change now. We're seeing players, cuddling and having a laugh during the game, not even, after the game. I mean, the Turan brothers, they even celebrate together when they go against each other. It's a funny one. Culture plays a part in this. The dressing room is a safe space for the players, for the team. In that dressing room, you're supposed to be able to behave and interact at a level where you are not scrutinized by anybody outside of the team. You can have a shouting match with the manager in that dressing room. The minute you walk out of that dressing room, it's done and it's not even discussed again. You can let out your emotion. That is a safe space for the dressing room. The manager can give you a bollocking in that dressing room, and then after the match, he'd give you a high five, he'd give you a hug. That is a safe space for the team. Once you start involving administration staff, management, club management, directors, owners, in that space, it loses that the atmosphere, that environment, that safe zone space, if I could call it that way. And that is something that we as fans understand, especially those of us who have played football, understand that and know how important that is in part of your team. And it's not just football, by the way. I used to play cricket. I used to live in Yorkshire. I used to play cricket all the time. I used to play for my local club, and we had that kind of feel in the in the dressing room. Interviews at halftime. I don't want to see my players distracted by media during the game. Halftime, their mind should be in the game. I don't want them to say something in that talk that might, be an indicator to the other team about what we're thinking, what we're doing. We can talk all you want after the game. During the game, we don't want that. Now, I know in America it's different because sport in America is also different. A lot of your sports have quarters, so the actual game is split into 4 different segments, and even the team that is playing in those segments changes so much. It's different for basketball, for NFL, for and again, I'm not in a position to really comment on this because I don't really follow those sports all that much. But I know for football, my sport, it isn't quite the right thing to do. Now, things are changing. Things are being adapted. We started to get drinks breaks involved when we're playing in hot climates. There are changes which I can understand and I can I can see the reasoning behind it. VAR is still one that I haven't made a decision on because one day I'm loving it and one day I'm thinking it's destroying the game. Things are going to change, but there are certain things that I feel shouldn't be touched. The space for the players that shouldn't be touched. That is a space that is still part of the actual game. Yes, they're going in after the game, but players after the game, they want to be in that dressing room and they want to let off some steam. I'm there letting off some steam, and then the director comes in, and I got to shut my mouth and not say something that's going to, cause an upset. But that shouldn't be the case because that is the time where you let out that steam, you let out that emotion. You can have a go at your teammate and say, "Look, you didn't do well there. You messed up." But I can't have that conversation with my teammate if the director is sitting there. Enzo Maresca can't be giving us, directions in the way that he feels free when the owner is sitting there, because maybe him having a go at a certain player might get the owner to think, we should sell this geezer. But no, I'm trying to be tough on him because I think tough love is the way to talk to this player. But I can't do it with the director being there. Things like that. So, yeah, it might be okay, but it isn't the way that things are done in football. Maybe they'll change. Maybe they should change. I don't know. But lads, I think this is a good time to end the stream. It has been outstanding. I have enjoyed it. I think we touched on all the points, and we touched on them from multiple different angles. You guys in the chat, you guys have been on fire today. The comments have been coming, and they've been coming thick and fast. I know I missed a few of them, so I'm gonna probably rewatch the stream and read your comments and collate all the information you guys have sent. But for those of you who are still about, I have an announcement to make. Next Sunday, we will not be streaming on the Blue Lounge. The stream will still go ahead, but it will not be here on the Blue Lounge. Next Sunday stream, Let's Talk Chelsea, Sunday night stream, will be hosted by Nizayon on Blue Cloud Media. The same stream, the same panel, the same everything, but it will not be on the stream, on this channel. It'll be on Blue Clouds Media. I am actually taking a vacation. I'm going on holiday. A bit of rest. A bit of rest is deserved and needed. So I'm going to be going on holiday in a few days. I will still be here for the Benfica game. I'm not missing that. But after the Benfica game, I will be going on holiday. So I'll probably drop some content Tuesday, Wednesday. But then the next stream for the Blue Lounge, Let's Talk Chelsea, will be hosted by Nizayon on Blue Clouds Media. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Blue Clouds Media and make sure you have that bell notification button on because the stream will be on Blue Clouds Media next Sunday at 10 p.m. UK time. Let me give each one of the panelists a closing statement before we end the stream. Who shall we start with? Eeny, meeny, miny. I'll go with Lewis. Lewis, your closing statement, brother.
Closing statement. We can call out the things that are wrong, that we don't believe in. We have the right to be the fan that wants more, and that's okay, as long as when the time comes and the whistle goes, we support our team.
100%. 110%. The team comes first. No individual is above the team. I don't care who they are. The director, the owner, the player, the manager. The team is number one. And we will always back the team. We will always be behind our Blues. I'm going to leave Nizai on to the end. Let's go to Kai. Kai, close the statement.
Look, it's another opportunity on Tuesday to bounce back. And I also want to say this, like, just because you may be positive and try and back the team doesn't mean you back everything that's going on behind closed doors. You can still support the team, even if you hate the directors or hate the ownership. You can still support the players. And I will support these players through thick and thin if they're having a bad time, if they're having a great time. And I'm going to still go in with the energy that we can get something out of the Benfica game. Because if we're on it, and there's no silly red cards or mistake, we've beaten them before. So there's nothing to say that we can't do it again. So I am going in with a little bit of positivity, but like I said, you know, you can still support the players, even if you don't like everything else that's going on.
Spot on, Kyle. Well said. 100% agree. 100% agree. We will always back the team. We will criticize, but doesn't mean we don't back him. We're not behind him. We will be supporting them. And yeah, love Jose, but I'm not giving him. I'm not giving him 3 points. We'll make it hard for him. Matt, close the statement, brother.
I think Kai and Lewis have summed it up really nicely, man. I think support the team. Just love football, mate. Just love football. You know, it's too easy to care about the directors and the finance. And as Chelsea fans, it's all really highlighted for us, man. But when things are tough, just enjoy watching your team, good or bad.
Spot on. You know, we talked about Antonio Conte a lot today, so I'll say one last thing in regards to what Matt said. Suffering, and if you know, you know. Blue Clouds Media, the next host of the stream. Close the statement, brother. Let's hear it.
Thank you very much, Mo, for having me. I always say it's always you know, a privilege to come on here and share the studio or the panel with wonderful guys like my brother. I forgot his name. Help me out. Lewis. Yeah, Lewis shouldn't be a name that I can't you know, don't have to forget it. Okay, Lewis. And then Matt and Kyle over here. You know, I'm always here with these gentlemen down there. But I always say, look, it's not all the time that everything's going to be nice for us. It's not all the time that everything's going to shine for us. You know, I always give hope when you feel like there's no hope over there. I'm that kind of a person. And negativity doesn't dwell in my environment. I never feed on negativity. I will give you that extra leg, the extra step, the extra energy that you need to move on. Let these owners do whatever they want to do. I want to tell you that PTSD is real, bro. I have lots of things that I do every day. So Chelsea doesn't ever bring me down. When the men's team doesn't go on, the women's team out there, they cheer me up. You see Aggie Beaver-Jones banging in goals from left, right, center. You get what I'm saying? You know, Sam Kerr coming in. That should even motivate you. I know maybe you don't want women football, but that should even make your day. After that, I have ice hockey lookout thing to go and watch in the evening at 10 o'clock in the evening. Then also, look, I have NFL to watch. So I don't allow Chelsea a bad game should affect my, you know, my heart or me personally morally. I'm always energized because I have family. I know people take things very, very personal, and we don't have to. Support the club. Look at those that were supporting the club in 1905, 1920, 1930, 1950, 1960, 1970, 80 to 90s. They never enjoyed this luxury that the current, you know, Chelsea team is enjoying. You're seeing better. You're seeing money splashing left, right, center. There are other clubs that wish they can splash with the money we're splashing. Although you believe, or you and I believe that the money is not splashed in the better way or the right way it should go, that should not stop you from supporting CFC, the Blues. That is a club that you know. You get what I'm saying? Support it, but encourage. It will get better. Those in the past did not see this. They were crying. Even those that were in relegation, to supporting the club to relegation. They even supported until they got promoted back to the Premier League. And then we finally found one man called Roman Abramovic. He took over the football club. Support it with a thick or thin. It will get better. It will get better. Trust me, it will get better. I'll give you that hope that you don't think that you feel like it's not there. It is there. Enzo Maresca will bounce back again. The whole team will bounce back again. Levi Kuwa will be back. Dilap will be back. We'll find our Chelsea again. Let's smile and let's support the team. Blue Clouds Media will be hosting, next Blue Lounge Chelsea content on my platform. Make it a time to, tune in and let's support our team. Let's talk Chelsea again. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, Mo, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Nee. Thank you. You know what? I could literally do a whole stream on that last closing statement, but we're going to leave it for the next one. Big up to Nee, big up to Lewis, big up to Matt, big up to Kai, big up to every single one of you in the chat. We still have needed 20 of you in the chat as we're about to end the stream. But before I do, I want to just double check how many likes we got. Because I really didn't push the likes today, but I want to see how many we got. Do you want to see it? Do you have a drum roll? Okay, hold on. Let's do a drum roll. Let's get it. 29 likes. We're one shy of 30. We're one shy of 30. So if you haven't smashed the like button, you can if you want to. And if you don't, it's okay. Not a problem. But yeah, guys, I will be doing some content for the Benfica game. I don't know what I will be doing just yet because I've got a busy couple of days ahead of me. Possibly a stream tomorrow night, pushing it. Possibly. Maybe I'll do a stream the day after. We'll see. So make sure you have that bell notification button turned on. I will post in the community tab. If you don't follow me on TikTok or Twitter, you might want to do that as well. But yeah, thank you all. Have a good night and up the Chelsea. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and peace.